I made it.
Oh, well done.
Yes.
Mhm.
I had issues with my Zoom.
Do you
I,
know, I've been having issues with tech stuff. Replay, I don't know. It's been ongoing for a weekish. So
yeah,
I don't know what's
technical
going on.
shenanigans. I think because of they're actually doing all the authorization stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
All that. Maybe it's to do with that. I don't know. Or just us high vibe beings with technology.
Ah, that could be it. That's
Yeah,
enough to throw everyone off, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. How is everyone? I'm brilliant. I've had a really nice restful break. I'm feeling good, but less about me. How's everyone doing? Start with you, Christine, seeing as you're chatting away.
Vocal. Yeah, hang on. Let me get. Yeah, I'm good. Hmm.
Busy week.
There we go.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Yeah,
You're
I
there.
take my hair out because it aches at this time of day from being tied back. Yeah, I'm good. I've had lots of work done on the land, drainage, phase two of the garden. I got 25 foot more the other side with a bare patch-ish. I've got trellis work put up, so I've got all the grapes in situ to grow up those. Um, yeah, I put in extra work to get things sorted. And it's just, no, the guys have been really, really brilliant. They're doing a really good job. I've just got the drainage down right across the bottom field now. Um, and hopefully they should be finished this Friday. They've been there over 2 weeks.
Wow, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
if it takes its time, that means it's doing a proper job. So,
Yeah, well, there's only two of them, and they disappear to go and get goods and whatever they need to bring it back. So today, I think they've driven in four like telegraph size poles. So that's round where I store the hay because I just happened to mention I wanted to put a building there, and he said, "Oh, if you got the stakes, we'll drive them in." So he went and got them, and they're driven in, so they're sat in situ for the next stage when I can
well,
find where I want to go. And that's what they've been like. Um, and I actually had my trough at the bottom. They connected that to the pipe that goes down there, and just things like that that are going to make my life so much simpler.
that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah,
This is exactly what it's all about because I was thinking, what's a sort of good message to kind of start the kind of this kind of session with? And it's
hmm
kind of like, well, I was thinking, well, what do people want to see? And
hmm
then the message came through. Well, just be what you want to see. Just be that. Just put into
yeah,
practice what you would like to see in the world, and start with yourself. And
yeah,
you've just explained exactly that. It's a lovely kind of way of thinking about things. If you start with your own patch
yeah,
or your own kind of stuff that you can control around you, then
yeah,
if you someone's going to come across that and look at that and go, oh wow, someone's
yeah. It's happening. It
got
is
love here,
happening.
you know,
Yeah,
and
I
so
had I had the bee man down again today. He's come in, and so we're looking at bringing in the four hives. And then he identified down the bottom there's a place that's just ripe for his queen bees to do their thing. And he's bringing some of his bits up for the chickens because he said, "Oh, they'll love that." And he said, "Wow," at what I'd done. But then
mhm.
I started on the apiary, the farms and the Airbnb, because I've got a shed that's brand new off of my field shelter that I put in, and at the moment it doesn't have a lot in it. And I just said that will be brilliant. And I said, I don't particularly want people stopping overnight, but we can do half day sessions where people
Yeah,
come in and lay on it. And yeah, and well, I introduced him to that anyway. So he's now said, we need to get you a bee suit and you can learn bees. And it's just
love
happening.
it. Do you
Yeah,
know what? It's That's just your love and your joy for what you're doing, and that's
absolutely.
infectious.
Thank
And
you.
and what's nice is that you're a fountain of new ideas for people. Where all this high 5D or up high
Hmm.
frequency stuff is all broadcasting out these
Yeah.
lovely alternate ways of living that just with all that love. So,
Hmm.
that's you're just sparking other people off, and it's lovely to hear, you know,
Yeah.
people enthusing about, what they can do, looking forward kind of thing. So, and
Hmm.
you're providing that space for them, that lovely sacred space for them. That's what it's all about. So,
Yeah.
absolutely
And
brilliant.
well, all the guys, well, the B guy, I mean, he's slightly different because he's military. But he lives in, he calls it his own little bubble because he likes to go down where his bees are and I mean, he does lots of videos and whatnot. You can look him up. He's called the Bee Rookie.
Oh, okay.
So he does, and he's got lots of little clips and videos and whatnot. And I stumbled on his website the other day, and I think he's trying to make me famous because he's now said, and he said on this thing, oh, a lady in Scene got in touch with me, and so we're going to be putting bees over there. And I said to him when I saw him today, "You're trying to make me famous, and I don't want that."
No, but in
But
some ways, actually,
I know
you
exactly what you're going to say.
you could say how wonderful the PLC is, or holistic. If you don't want to go the
So,
branding route, you could say,
yeah,
what a lovely group we are of holistic people,
yeah,
and we're just kind of this is our lifestyle. It's not a kind of fashion statement. It's
yeah.
a way of living with love and compassion.
Hmm.
So I think that anyone would be happy to broadcast that message, especially nowadays.
Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
do get a chance, and he he does
Yeah,
collar you in the corner of the
yeah.
field, it would be worth. I'd appreciate it if you did say something like that. But obviously,
Absolutely.
if you only wanted to, so
No, no, well, this is it. Well, he lives in his bubble and he sits down with his bees and he's just in his world of his own,
that's
which
good.
is
Yeah,
great from everything else. And even though he's in the unfortunate position of being military, shall we say, and so having to go with the narrative,
yeah.
everything else about him is not of that world,
Well,
and
by
he's setting
by
his. Mhm.
osmosis, you could soften that kind of resolve or that fixed mindset
Yeah.
just by
Well,
kind of throwing a few seeds in
oh,
there.
I've already I've already done that, and it's funny because he's sort of going away, and when he comes back, and I mention it again, I said, "Oh, do you know about so and so?" And he said, "Well, you mentioned it last time, and I've been looking." So that's where we're at.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, because often military guys are good researchers and stuff like that, and they have good logic. So, that
yeah,
can kind of upgrade their paradigms, sort of thing.
yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Christina. I appreciate
Okay.
that update
Mm.
because that is a perfect example. You're being the example you want to see in the world, and you're providing that space for other people, but not only other people, nature. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing. So good stuff. Thank you. Shareva, how's your week been?
It's been a good week, a busy week. You can hear me good? Well,
Yes, I
okay.
can hear
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time at my brother and sister's house and helping my brother move my mom's stuff from her house to my brother's house. So there's been a lot of,
Doing and
she's
frying.
moving out of her house. Yeah, family stuff. And it's been actually really good to see how much stuff one can acquire and how much stuff I have. And I realize I need to start getting rid of some of my stuff because I don't want to make my kids, yeah,
Have
do
to
what
deal
we're
with it.
doing
Have to
now.
go through
Yeah,
it all.
yeah, yeah. So it's all good. I'm
I
good. I'm
find
good.
I find the more things that I release that are old that I no longer serve me, the clearer my head is because I've literally got somewhere in there stored away a little narrative with each little piece or a little thread. Oh, I could hold on to this for a project, or I want to remind myself of that. So being able to kind of like identify the things that you've transcended, that you've moved forward from, and then kind of getting rid of all it feels actually really good. It's like kind of a lot of weight off you kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
I think for me, I hold on to things because insecurity, like there's knowledge in that book I have not yet read. But then I ask myself, how come I haven't read it yet? But that's one reason I hold on to books. And then tools, I'm like, oh, what if one day I need this thing, if this bad thing happens? So I think letting go of that doomsday sort of mentality is important too.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking to the wrong person, really,
I know.
because I'm a kind of almost a kleptomaniac, you know. And books and tools are kind of like them, you know. I
Yeah.
think books are so amazing because you know you could just delete stuff online and it would
Yeah.
be lost forever. So I'm with you on that one. And tools,
Yeah.
you never know when you need to break out of somewhere that you're trapped in. But yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying. Yeah, but it's kind of like everything. It's kind of you have to. I think just taking regular sort of stock takes anyway, you know, whatever your circumstances, is a good thing to do because then you're kind of updating the sort of collection of things that give you joy and things that you know brings you know getting rid of things that weigh you down, sort of thing. So it's kind of my kind of ethos is it's like a moving showroom. You know, stuff comes in, hangs around for a while, and then moves on. So, but yeah, it's all part of that clearing process and moving forward, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, Reva. Hi, Jane. How are you?
Jane or the other Jane?
This one I'm speaking to. I'm getting to the other Jane, the wonderful
With
other
a Y
Jane
in a
too.
minute.
How's
I'm
your week
good,
been?
thank you. It's been good. It's been good. I've been clearing up the garden. Just kind of lots of stuff that needed to be kind of tidied up, ready for winter. That's the kind of way it is at this time of year.
I had an idea about you because you said that you've been sewing new clothes, making new clothes. Well, I was thinking actually, walking around the charity shop today, maybe it's a crazy idea, but you know, one could go around buying linen and cotton fabrics or clothes and repurpose them because you know the trend is at the moment to have all these nylon and plastic based things which have terrible charge and you know create static electricity and stuff. So maybe kind of a thing to do to develop moving forward would be to have a way or people buy those sorts of fabrics from charity shops, whether they're already a clothing item or just the fabric, and then convert those into wearable, more you know, more modern clothing, and then those could be sold in the PLC shop or you know on someone's stall.
Yeah.
So it would also kind of save fabrics going into landfill or to, you know, being degraded. So that was just an idea, just based on what you were saying.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, people need
That's
natural
something
fibers.
we can do. I'm not sure I can do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I enjoy sewing, but not to the extent that I want to start, you know, manufacturing
yes.
stuff. But you know, it's in future. Maybe it will be. There's a woman and mother and daughter in Penzance that have a shop that do exactly that.
Oh,
They
brilliant.
get stuff from charity shops and all sorts of places, but it's all natural fibers, and
Oh,
they
It's
make
called
them.
upcycling.
yes.
Yes, and
Upcycling.
they make them into wonderful clothes along, you know, sort of arty, fun stuff. It's not just changing it; it's really real upcycling. So
Oh,
yeah,
it would be good to get in
there's
contact with them because
yeah,
if we can sell you know natural fiber clothing as part of you know the store PLC store, that would be really good as
yeah,
well. So yeah, I look forward
yeah,
to sort of developing that little thread. That's the nice thing about when you create all these this space, all these lovely threads, you know,
start to
start
come
growing.
in. Yeah.
I actually
So
have a
we've all
question. Oh, I'm going to
yeah.
jump in real fast.
Sorry, Sue.
I have a bunch of wool sweaters that have moth holes in them. Anybody have any idea what I can do with the wool sweaters to not throw them away, to make them useful still?
They can
Oh,
be made into patchwork and stuff, I think, but they'd obviously, if they're full of holes, it's not so easy. But
I
yeah, you know, they can be cut out and then you can actually mend the holes with something interesting in the holes.
there's
Some
also
people do
I
that.
think you can use it as a is it a compost or something like that if you
Yeah,
shred the wool you can lay
they
that
could be
down as a
composted. Yeah,
not
yeah,
but also an insulator for growing you know stuff underneath. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, could
if they're
be.
too holy, you know.
And
Could you
we've got our
use them
next,
on, sorry, could you
sorry.
use them on terracotta pots? Because I've got some of those outside that'll need insulation for the winter.
That's
So-
a
That's
good
a good
idea.
idea. Yeah.
dress, put clothing on
Not
all your
in
pots.
Tennessee, but not in Tennessee, but it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because they do in the frost. They break those.
They
They
need,
break.
they need protection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
So,
you can use them
yeah.
to wrap around drain pipes outside. Drain pipes, stop them from cracking in the frost as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these wonderful tips.
Wonderful ideas. Yeah.
You'll have to parcel them over to the UK or somewhere cold if you're not recycling.
It actually does freeze here, so
Oh,
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
y'all are under the wrong impression. It does get cold.
It's just your sunny expression, Sareva. That's what it is. I think it's there all the time.
Oh.
Sunshine.
So
Well,
we've also got our meeting coming up on Saturday, our next
Yep.
PLC meeting. So I'll report back on that next week.
great. You know, this is all wonderful as well. I mean, we are slowly developing. You know, we're slowly expanding, which is lovely. For example, this week Jane and I popped up on the Telegram group. You may have noticed on the members main hub, we've now got a section called Resources Hub. So what I'm going to be doing there is putting things like the cures for things and information about, well, it's mainly health stuff at the moment. So I'm just starting with A. It's going to be a bit random. You know, there's going to be A, N for nicotine, you know, all sorts of Z for zeolite. But you'll be able to, in the search engine, just type in A or type in Alzheimer's or type in whatever that, and then that will take you to a sort of list of the search findings. So I thought it's a better way of doing it than having all that data stored on the website, because actually some of these links will not be available after a while. Some of them, new links will be need to be put on and stuff like that. So really, it's a good way of saving space on the website, because that's going to be slightly revamped so that the info is going to be easier to get to, easier to navigate on the website. But using technology, using the Telegram page, we can put up on the resources section of the main hub, we can put all those kind of lovely cures that are out there and information about how you can, you know, improve your health if you've got a situation that you need to deal with. So I think it's a really quick and easy way to get to information quicker than it would be on the website. So that's the kind of latest kind of addition to PLC, and it's with a view to, you know, if you're talking to someone and there's a particular medicine or herb or vitamin or whatever it is that comes up or topic, you can get to that quickly by typing in the search. So, and then I think we're going to do pretty much the same with the directory as well, where we're going to be advertising people's businesses who are PLC members as well. So that's the latest bit about that. But I kind of wanted to get round to everyone first before I start my little bit for today. I think it's just Jane and Heather left. Is it? Hi, Jane. How are you? Can you hear me, Jane Fitzhenry? I think it might be on mute and could be doing golf, indoor golf, and so a bit busy at the moment. Okay, we'll move on to Heather. Hi, Heather. Nice to see you anyway, Jane. Well, not to see you. Nice to know that you're around on the call. Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. How's your week been?
My week's been lovely, to be honest. Do you know what? I've not looked at anything. I've not done anything except look after myself this week.
Good.
I've
Yeah.
just had a night week. It's been beautiful weather. I've been swimming every day, looking after my granddaughter, and just like doing my best every day to link in to the universe, link into my heart, link into the sun, and just have a week of doing something different.
Well, that's brilliant, because that's self-actualization. That's living the dream, isn't it? You've got your family around you. You've got nice weather. You've got a place that roof over your head. So that's really lovely to hear as well. We've had really good weather, haven't we?
We've had beautiful weather, and I just thought it was a time. I don't know what I thought really. It's just a time for me, and I've also looked out several. So this is only my second year of planting vegetables. So I've looked out, I got some seeds to plant some winter stuff, which I'm hoping to do next week. I'm going to have a go and see what happens, really. Plant some winter leeks and carrots and yeah, just see what happens. And I did buy a little cover because it's the wind by me, it kills everything. So I bought a little cover and I'm just going to have a go and see what happens. But somebody the other week reminded me, I don't know who it was, but like before you plant the seed to put your own spit on it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So the seed gets to know your genetic DNA, and then it
Yeah,
produces, a, a kind of remedy really for that as well. So,
yeah,
and then when you eat it, you've got those compounds that the seed is provided from
yeah,
seeing your DNA.
yeah.
So that's
So
pretty good.
I am going to have a little go at doing that next week. And yeah, I'll put some more copper trim around because I do have a lot of snails or slugs, whatever they are here. Yeah, but anyway,
Hmm.
that's my plan. So
Good
yeah,
stuff.
unusual really for me, but there we go.
Well,
Well,
it's nice that you're planting seeds metaphorically and actually physically as well. So
yeah,
because you've got something, to look forward to, it's an ongoing project, isn't it? So it's nice to have. I love these sort of ongoing projects. I've got a few rolling ones, so and they always keep me entertained. If I'm, I've got the mind to do them, or the weather's good, or the opportunity is there. So
I'm
yeah.
doing I'm doing an interview with Giles tomorrow, Giles Bryant. So he's very kindly offered to post that out on all his networking groups. So I've
Is
got
that
that
any?
tomorrow
Is that themed in any particular topic, or?
on the light language and the heart.
Oh, that's great. Now that I've got a bit of stuff to talk about that actually in this call, which is
Okay.
really, and I've got a couple of videos to send you guys as well, which is related to the one I'm going to talk about. Yes,
Yeah,
Jane.
Jane's unmuted herself now.
Hooray!
If she's
Hi,
Thanks for that.
Jane.
Hi,
Hi,
Jane.
Jane. Honestly, I'm so embarrassed with my computer skills. I'm just so embarrassed. Plus, the camera on my phone has broken.
Oh,
So I'm afraid I've got no face to show. But anyway, hey ho.
well, just imagine that you're in a dark room, basically, and that I know what your face looks like. So I'm all.
I'm so sorry. I
Do you know what
just
you've
don't
got
want to
here?
pay out
And you're
300.
managing to speak. That you're not that tech a
Oh,
luddite. So you've got this far. So that's good.
anyway. Yeah, no. So I had a week's break last week in that lovely weather. So that's helping my recovery. Just to let the others know that I had back surgery about 5 months ago now, was it, Matt?
Yeah, about that.
Through Matt's kind recommendation, best thing I've had done because I'm finally recovering. It was just a mechanical problem that just needed sorted, and I'm just so grateful to Matt for recommending me to do it because I'd been in pain for years and everything I'd tried was just not working. So I'm finally recovering. So obviously I can't do much gardening and things. What's given me much joy though from my garden is at the top. We've got a mini orchard and we've been able to give the community all our plums and cooking apples and pears.
Brilliant.
So
I'm going to have to get
that's,
some of those off you next year then.
oh, bless you. I should have bought some when I saw you last week. But so that's lovely, just being able to share. And we've only been here 3 years, but the crop this year has just been so abundant. I mean, our cooking apple tree has nearly fallen over with the weight and the amount of apples. And our pear tree, I mean, you know, we worry about what's sort of being sprayed down on us, and yet our garden this year has just thrived. Absolutely. We've never had such an abundant crop. So all my local neighbours have been very happy with us popping little boxes of fruit round to them. So that's given me much joy. So, yeah, I'm in a good headspace. Thank you.
Excellent. You know,
Thank you.
this is lovely to hear you on the call, because you've been meaning to jump onto the PLC calls for a while. And just to explain to everyone else, Jane is absolutely amazing. Well, Jane Young is as well, but this lovely Jane Fitzhenry is amazing as well. And one of the strongest people I know. And you know, facing the challenges and then overcoming them, and a really good example of how nothing is set in stone. You know, you don't have to just take things as they are and just accept them. If you want to change things, you can positively take control of your lives and change them, but it takes kind of motivation. So you know, Jane has amazing motivation, and the fact that you went through that whole range of things to finally get to something that worked for you is brilliant. And so that's why we're all positively living people, but you know, we've all come from kind of adversity in some ways. For us to have kind of come through it all and said, hey, I don't want any of that. I want a life where I'm living with lots of loving people, kind, compassionate people, strong people, people who have experienced life, you know, on the front line kind of thing, where they can talk about it and share about it and share how they've progressed and grown and actually thrived. So it to all kind of people who are new to this and may see the video, you know, it's not all sort of happy clappy, you know, positive people from the start. It's helping people through their challenges till they become more happier with themselves and more happy about life. And that's what all this is about, this lovely conversations every week where we get to catch up with our tribe, as it were, because it also kind of shows that you're not alone. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to suffer on your own. You can get a tribe, a community of people who are supported, like PLC. So, you know, we are happy in ourselves because we're finding more reason to live and enjoy life. So it's a gradual slide up to the happy scale, if you like, for each of us. And you know, Jane, you're a lovely example of someone who's kind of got immense strength and joy and love, and you know, you're sharing what you can and you're being participating as much as you can. And I really appreciate you coming on the call for that, and also, you know, sharing your kind of unique, lovely signature, you know, your lovely personality and vibe and all that sort of stuff. So good stuff. Thank you. And hopefully we'll get your face on next week or the week after,
It's
if you come back for more, that is.
It's a case of I don't know how much a new phone is these days. What,
yeah.
£300?
It might be the case that you could take it to the phone shop and they could just repair the camera. So
yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll
yeah.
give it a go because the camera at the back works. If I need to take any photos, I can.
Oh,
But
right, okay.
with my family, if we do, you know, FaceTime, they can't see me, which half the time, you know, I'm not too worried about. I'm just, you
My
know,
mum refuses
not
to be
washing camera.
on camera. She doesn't like seeing herself.
But yes, actually, I should take it into a shop because I don't need you know, I don't really want to spend out that much money on a new phone, really.
And they're quite whiz kids, you know. They'll kind of open it up quickly, do a bit of soldering maybe, and then close it up. And Bob's your uncle. It's done. It's repaired.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'll sort that out. Bless you.
Good.
Thank you, Matt. Bless you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I think we've got round to everyone now, have we? So I in some ways, I was going to do the intro because it's a public call, but I think everyone pretty much knows what PLC is about on this call. I just wanted to highlight two really lovely things I'm thinking about the PLC, and so if we could pop up the first image, Jane, that would be great, just to kind of show people what I'm reading off. It's a kind of listy one. Yes, that one. So there's a difference. Basically, can people hear me? Yes. Okay. Hopefully. So there's a difference between basically 3D society and what we're doing as divine beings. So the differences are basically sugar and honey. Sugar is kind of like the 3D kind of realm, and honey is the divine kind of higher realms, you know, of sovereignty, basically. With kind of 3D, you've got things have to be, well, for example, sugar has to be processed, but honey is made naturally. Sugar gives you a short-term hit. Honey gives you benefits to health. Sugar is a synthetic and it's sold as a commodity, whereas nature produces honey for free for the community, for everyone, and it heals as well. Products. Now, this thing about online, 3D, people want to sell you products, so you're just going to kind of get a short hit about information and a short learning boost. But with kind of our sort of PLC and that sort of 5D sacred space, it's basically you've got a continual space for people to learn in that's there 24/7. So that's the difference between, say, kind of 3D product marketing and 5D sacred space that provides that information 24/7. You've got limited offers, for example, for self-development, but then with PLC, you know, it's a pool you can drop into any time. You can look at the resources, you can watch the videos, you can, you know, all these things you can dip in and out of 24/7 if you want to continually learn and stuff like that. There's no kind of restrictions on that. Then, of course, with 3D, you've got systems that are subject to change. So say you set up a child's primary school, then the funding gets cut, and then all the parents and people who are dependent on that school kind of lose their jobs, and the children have to move elsewhere. Whereas with sort of 5D systems, they're more sustainable. You know, it'd be nice to have a creche in the hubs and homeschooling and a continual kind of way of learning that's sustainable, that isn't subject to change and funding by governments that pull the rug under people. And of course in 3D it's attachment to things, it's a dependency, whereas 5D and up, it's connection, it's, you know, belonging. There's a completely different form of energy connection. And then you've got the short knowledge bursts, and then with PLC it's sort of like a repository of knowledge. You know, we want to put loads and loads of information into that so people can access that readily and quickly so that they can educate themselves. It's not for me to tell people how to learn, or any one of us to kind of demand how people learn, because people learn in different ways. So if there's that pool of knowledge, that repository that's up there 24/7, then people can learn at their own pace, with their own passions and their own kind of following their own callings. So 3D is kind of top down, and it's no two-way flow. So you can only go so far up before you hit like a brick wall and someone's saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, I can't speak to my manager. No, thanks. Whereas 5D is ground up and we're all sharing the same fire. So we're all kind of like equal. Which kind of brings me to basically, we're all kind of living from the heart. We're all being passionate about what we do. So can we move to the next slide, please, Jane? Now, this is actually really quite an interesting concept. So there's an umbrella basically covering the heart. That's if there's too much mind energy, too much head energy, you're covering the heart basically, and all these thought forms. And basically it blocks it from being watered, from being nurtured. Whereas if you're in love, it's it's an inverted umbrella. It's more like a radar dish that's broadcasting out your light, but also receiving light. So it's that two-way flow. And basically, that's the difference between fear energy and love energy, fear consciousness and love consciousness. The more that we're in fear, the more we're in that head energy that covers our heart and just kind of blocks, half of our senses. But the more we're in love, we actually increase our senses and our sensitivity to those things as well. So can we move to the next slide, please, Jane? So ultimately, the heart is 10,000 times more powerful than the mind in terms of the energy field. And actually, if you look at it in anatomy through an X-ray, the actual pumping heart informs the mind. It actually pumps into the mind. So the heart is way, way, way more powerful than the mind. Now, if people are in head energy, their minds are covering up, are preventing the supreme power of the heart to inform them. So it's really important to live in that heart-mind coherence, that balance, because you need both. You need insight and you need compassion. Without one without one of them, basically you have things like if the mind energy is too strong, then suffering occurs in the heart, and if the heart energy is too strong, then suffering occurs in the mind. So it's really important to self-regulate both and actually let the heart inform the mind, because that's got the more powerful energy. So I kind of just wanted to run those two bits past you. Thanks, Jane. That's all for that. Wanted to run those two bits past you, and then send you this link to two videos. I think it's there's a lady called Joanna and Macy, and they've explained it really well, how things are changing. So, one of them talks about the pyramid of top down being changed by these beings at the bottom, are us compassionate, loving, higher vibe beings at the bottom of the pyramid. And then the other one, which I was explaining about, which we need both of, which was that one, is about compassion and about insight. They're really, really good. Two little clips. They're not very long, but one of them with the sugar cubes shows what we are actually in the process of doing right now, and then the other one speaks about how to use the heart and the mind coherently. So using insight to inform the heart and using compassion to inform the mind. And I thought you guys really like that, and it's really what our ethos is here at PLC, to welcome people in, treat everyone equally and live from the heart. So in that unity consciousness. So hopefully you guys got that now, that those two video links, so you can watch that after the show. Yeah, so that's kind of, well, how are we doing for time?
It's 22:09.
Right, okay. I think it's interesting that there are no chaps in this call today, but that's fine. That's cool. Really the women, because you've got more negentropic, implosive consciousnesses, you can kind of recognize patterns and things more than men do in a different way. And the fact that mostly women are calling the garden into being. They are, you're all each individually weaving your magic, basically, and we need some more men to step up to help you do that, because there's a misconception that the divine feminines can rise to the top this time round, but actually in history, when that happened, it's exactly the same as if the divine masculine gets corrupted. So what we need to do is bring both together up, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because then that's mutual energies, and recognizing, the wonderful nature of each. So You know, I'm celebrating that I've got so many wonderful, conscious, divine feminine energies. We just need kind of some blokes to pull their socks up and come and join us as well. I know they're out there because, well, people like Joe and Lewis and others are there, but they, you know, they may be busy. So this is not a slight on any men who aren't on this call, but I'm just putting it out there that we need some more chaps as well.
Why, Matt? Why is this happening?
Well,
Why are the women sort of the divine feminine? There's, you know, we've kind of.
well, if you, it's a deep one, but I'll tell you, basically the men are under attack, and they've been under attack for the past, well, since the Second World War. Families being broken up, jobs being lower paid, more pressure on them to do more jobs. The society has changed. You know, women have become, not every woman, not all women, but society has trained women to be in competition with men and to think that they can compete with. And that mindset is not right, because they don't need to compete. You know, men and women both make the whole, basically, and each needs each other to inform each other. And where it's gone wrong is through, on purpose, by design, where you've atomized the family. You take the men away and give them stressful jobs where they have no time to have any family life or think about things. And they're just knackered all the time, and they're earning money that's decreasing. Then you put like social manipulation on them. So every other story in the media is about some criminal bloke attacking a woman. So you skew people's perspective on how men are. I mean, I've seen videos where they're saying men have to earn the right to the sperm, and where they have to be jailed from, say, puberty to earn the right to be free. You know, things like that. And a lot of women, it's about what they can get from a man. You know, I want the house, I want the child, I want this, I want that, and they don't, you know, ask. It's not a partnership. It's, you know, it's just take. So a lot of blokes are kind of a bit fed up with that, really, and they're not going on the dating pool because they don't want someone to compete with. They want someone who they can be equals with. And, you know, men are simple, really. They're quite direct and simple. And so, yeah, basically, men have been under attack, and this is a silent attack, because socially engineered culture and fashion has slowly kind of effeminated men through things like fashion trends, wearing kind of nylon clothing that kills their semen, basically, and chemicals in products, in grooming products. You know, it goes very deep, and also kind of just basically psychology, and all these programs have basically tried to undermine men and take them away from their families. My cousin committed suicide in February because the judge said, no, you can't talk to spirit because you're mad, and therefore you can't see your two boys. So it's kind of society is enforcing, and same for me. You know, I was prevented from seeing my daughter, and I had to go all the way to the Royal Courts of Justice 4 times to just get equal, and even that wasn't granted to me. So men are under a lot of pressure. There's 13 in England dying every day from suicide because they can't get decent jobs. They have to, if they do get a job, they have to work extremely hard, and then no life. And then the women are toxic and kind of complaining about them. And then, you know, you're in the media, men are either rapists or murderers. You know, it's like a real.
Yes.
So all that is kind of, we're busy kind of holding our own and kind of taking stock of the situation. And, you know, some of the blokes are managing to free themselves of that. But it makes you turn your men's consciousness in on themselves and self-loathing. And that's by design, so that it's part of the depopulation thing, and also making the women and children vulnerable so that they can be abused by, you know, horrible people. So there's all that going on. There was even one lady who decided to dress up as a bloke and see what it's like in manland, and she committed suicide because she got treated like a bloke. So there is that. So blokes are under a lot at the moment and trying to get their stuff together. and some of them are pulling themselves out of that, and that's what PLC is here for as well. You know, I want to do some men's circles and help some blokes.
Oh, brilliant.
And you know, I know other people like AJ and Warren Bowden, they're on that as well. So it just takes a bit of coaxing, you know, to bring back a
Yes.
bit more of that. I think when blokes realise that the programme to depopulate and separate and make them feel bad about themselves is known in that individual, then that's half of their, you know, stress cut, because you realise, oh, I'm under something that's been put upon me, and I don't have to accept that. So there's all those things. They're coming into the fore, and there will be more men turning up. So it's just a case of giving them the info that they need, helping them out of the suffering, and then kind of giving them lovely roles, you know, in these new holistic communities. Because there will be, say, for example, say you've got a lovely community and you meet in a village hall every month, say, there will be people who want to be part of that, but you'll have to kind of keep that sacred space from assholes. Sorry to say it,
Yeah.
but from idiots and assholes. And I know it sounds like being exclusive, but in some ways, to protect and uphold that space for others to flourish and survive and thrive and grow, you have to create some sort of boundaries, healthy boundaries. And part of that is code of conduct, and not allowing people to come in with their 3D ways and disrupt things, you know. So we do need men who have got it, who know how to allow people to be themselves, but also know how to kind of say, hang on a minute, we don't allow that because that's abusive or destructive behavior. So and these holistic communities will need those blokes, you know, while you lovely ladies are doing all your things that you do. You know, you don't want to be hassled by idiots, do you? And neither do us blokes. So, you know, there are roles coming up in these holistic communities where everyone's, you know, feels that they've got something that they can do and be you know, appreciated for. So yeah, that's the very kind of lengthy answer
Bless
to your
you. Thank
question.
you. Thank you.
But yeah, that's the situation at the moment. So
Spiritual war.
absolutely, yeah, it's war for the mind. You know, I was actually thinking most of the people laughing at me, who's saying I'm crazy and an idiot, are actually the ones under MK Ultra, are the ones under hypnotism. And that's the thing about hypnotism, you don't know you're hypnotized, you know, so you think that world of yours that you're seeing is normal, because everyone else, the majority, is hypnotized en masse as well. So when you kind of realize that sort of 80% of the population are under mass psychosis, believing that that's normal, that's sane, you realize actually you're the same ones, you know, being treated as crazy people. So it's kind of like a flip. And actually, then when you realize that they're all under a mass psychosis, hypnosis and ego protection, then it's not such a big deal when they laugh at you, because it's like, you know, I don't get offended by inmates at the insane asylum when they call me crazy. So I kind of have that attitude now with people who aren't open-minded and just blanket kind of think in those binary ways. Sort of
But
thing.
when you understand that it's by design, and so, you know, you can empathize, and, you know, you have to show compassion that
Absolutely.
this is the social conditioning of the cabal, isn't it?
Absolutely. To think in binary and then just react and not listen to understand, you know, that's how people are programmed. You know, they'll put media narratives out, and then they'll know exactly how a certain demographic will respond to that. An example of that was the phone thing, the EBS thing, to see who was partaking in that, i.e. hypnotized into thinking that was a good idea, and see who wasn't. You know, it gauges, you know, who's taking it up, who's hypnotized and who's not. And they do things like that all the time, just to test where people are psychologically. I'm gonna have a cup of tea. Anyway, so onwards and upwards, we've got loads of new stuff. We're up to about £1.5 grand on the ring fenced for the the PLC fund. So that's brilliant. We've got the Shine seminars coming up next year, and I wanted people to think about what specialisms they've got. So Heather, you've been to the Shine, and Jane, you've been to the Shine. You know what it's about. We're going to have our annual PLC gathering there in a big marquee, and I would like to get people who've got specialisms in experience. So maybe in the community section we could have, I know, Christine and Jane talking about growing, if you want to, you know, or other people that you may know who are not necessarily PLC members, but holistically aligned, who are growers, who are maybe well known for what they do. And what I'm going to also speak to Robin about the wellness, the health hub part, and hopefully get some experts in for that as well. So hopefully we can, and also maybe Kales and Jerry for the lawful section to help people know the law about their meters and things like that. So I kind of want to get influencers or people who have experienced life and talking about their relative experience in those kind of 5 hubs inside the big marquee, because then it's like a consultant. You can go up to them, and if you've got an issue, say with, I don't know, your community, or with law, you know, or with enterprise, or with health, you can go and speak to someone, just have a nice informal chat, because there's hopefully going to be like a table and chair area in the middle and a cafe, and yeah, just hopefully get people in and then get them informed, and then hopefully that will, you know, show what we're all about, the PLC. It's kind of like, in a way, it's like a triage shopping mall. You know, you come in and you get to see a range of people who are there to support you, and in that you find new information, and in that you get a leg up. So yeah, so have a think about whether you'd like to be in one of those hubs, and yeah, do feel free to contact me and chat about it, because I'd love to have 5 or more you know, experts, and then, you know, we all pile into the marquee and spend the day helping people out, you know, the public who come in and want to find out all about holistic society and things like that. So even like a kind of free food larder, or maybe some stalls. So all this sort of stuff we can talk about, because it's going to be next spring. So stuff we can all work out beforehand. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I think that's me done for this Wednesday.
Where will the Shine cinema be?
I'm not sure. I think I'm hoping he's going to hold it in 7 on Y, where it was before.
Lovely.
In Britain, near Bristol. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but like anything, I'll keep you updated on the main page, the PLC main hub, and also just chatting away to people anyway. So yeah, good stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right then. Well, thank you all for coming on the call. And it's you know what, this is so lovely, because for me, I love talking to my tribe and similar-minded people, and I know that I've got people I can chat to. You know, I'm not alone. I don't have to face all this horrible stuff on my own. I've got my crew. Hey, so so thank you all, and I really appreciate that. And we'll see you next week for the members call. And yeah,
Yep.
lots of love.
Lots of love.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Matt.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jen.
Bye.